Hello and welcome to the 165th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. And look who it is. We're joined by our other host,
Me, baby.
Jordan.
I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back from the dead.
Jordan, I hope you got this in you.
Dude, I hope so, too. It's been a month.
What are the platforms we put this show on?
I can't lose to Alex, so of course you can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed, all linked below. There's also YouTube and Spotify with the video platforms. You can find us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, death threats, most important, Little Kitty, Bid City, news, stuff, and Instagram, TikTok. So we're there. Sometimes.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Couple of times.
Well, couple of them.
Couple of them. Thank you to Alex if you're listening to this. I don't know if he's caught up on the episodes, but thank you for filling in my shoes. I know they're small shoes to fill, but I appreciate you filling them nonetheless.
Yeah, and and shout out to me for remembering Tuesday night to actually upload the podcast to the audio platforms.
I was very nervous that wasn't going to happen.
Because I was like, I uploaded to YouTube and scheduled it, and then I was like, all right, my job here is done. And
Washed his hands of it.
And then I was like, it was like Tuesday night, and I was like, I can't help but think I'm forgetting something. And then I was rewatching the episode, and I was like, I heard the intro, and I went, and I had to like find the login. This shows how fucking little I do for this show. I had to find the login. I had to log into Spotify and then upload it. It's not called Anchor anymore.
No, Spotify for podcasters.
So I had to upload it there, and I was like, oh, thank fuck that I remembered that, because Jordan would have never let me live that down.
That would have been,
Jordan would have beat the shit out of me. Jordan's like, you had one job.
I asked you for one
and
thing.
editing this podcast isn't really like a crazy job.
It's not, unless there's a mess up. We haven't messed up in like 10
episodes. The only reason it takes an hour is because these are like an hour long.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the whole thing just to make sure.
Yeah, like literally.
But you were cutting out like 30 seconds from each episode.
Yeah, like literally we've gotten to the point where we don't really mess up anymore. So when it's us, it's really not much editing at all.
Yeah, and Alex is pretty good at that, so.
Yeah, it was neat as well. Just see, maybe it's neater from my perspective than it would be from a general audience member, but like knowing the synergy in a way. I don't want to say synergy, but kind of the synergy we have after 165 episodes of doing this. There was this very clear, like almost like story arc to that episode. I felt like as I was listening to it, like Alex was very like involved and upfront, and then you guys kind of found like a nice cadence, nice flow back and forth. It turned out really good. I enjoyed the episode.
Yes, because Alex and I, listen, we worked in the same room together for like almost 3 entire years. So like, I feel like we're pretty good at. I feel like we know each other pretty well.
I just pictured, because
for better or for worse.
We've talked about it, how like cutting each other off and stuff. Like we've talked about trying to make it more audio friendly, right, in general, and I just pictured Alex like say butting in a bunch of times, but you cut that out and you just go, Alex, shut your fucking mouth,
dude, shut the fuck up,
and you just smack the shit
shut the fuck up, dude.
And that's why it was suddenly so good. But no, it was a good episode, so thank you to Alex for stepping in, thank you to Chris for stepping in and doing it, and not forgetting. So that's always...
I almost did.
Hey, I
almost did. And listen, up top, I want to talk about a couple of things, a couple of housekeeping things, because there was a Christmas special planned for this
one that
show.
Was perfectly in our scope.
There was and I'm not like tossing out blame here, because like Jordan had a decent reason, but like it just didn't work out, and we say that every fucking time because here's what happens. Have you ever heard that? What's that phrase? Man plans as God laughs, or some shit. That's us to a fucking T.
Fucking hurricanes.
Shit so often, and we constantly get fucked.
Yeah.
The last 3 months for us legitimately have been terrible.
Yeah.
It was like I've had to do so much shit. Jordan's just generally busy.
Yeah.
So, and then the last month has been like especially bad because like holidays and then
what
everything.
I'll get into.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so for the Christmas special, I don't know if we went into detail, but what we wanted to do, we were going to be watching the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies and doing like a little funny haha about it.
Yeah.
We even worked together to like pull back the scope and really discuss like keeping us in check and not trying to do this 25-hour project. Like, well, let's make sure this gets done. and then it just didn't work out.
And that's something we're both cognitively trying to manage, is like keeping scope correct on things, because
we tend to shoot for the stars.
Yeah, we're very like, just fucking
let it sail.
What's the biggest project that we can conceivably do? And then we just are like, we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. So in lieu of that, I was gonna do a project for the podcast because it was gonna be kind of collaborative, and then I was gonna do something for my main channel that I had been writing for a while, which I had to narrow the scope on. It ended up being a quarter of the video that it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which ended up way better because I ended up with a product I was very proud of. So if you're still in a Christmas mood by the time you hear this,
we'll put it in the description.
On my main channel, I have a video up after 2.5 years.
Yeah, I plan to give it a full watch. Chris gave me a little preview of the intro and like the outro, but I do want to watch it because it actually is pretty interesting and pretty good. I recommend it. It's Jordan approved.
It's pretty good. I liked filming it. I liked writing it. It was a good time. And here's to more stuff on that channel.
Yeah. Yep. But if Chris is fine with it, I'm gonna deviate into what happened. I'm gonna try and keep it pretty simple, just because most of our like returning audience are friends and family, and they're all pretty aware of everything anyway. So I'm not gonna rehash it for 40 minutes. But for those who don't know what happened, I'd like to at least put it out there. So I talked about Oscar losing weight. That was the thing I've talked about for a while now. How it's like, oh yeah, he's starting to slim out. And then obviously we lost Noggin in early November rather. Well, December came around. Oscar had his vet visits throughout November with the urinalysis and the blood found in his urine and all this. And it came to a head where the urinalysis, they still found blood, and they also found that it was a very low specific gravity. Not very low. It was like a point below what it should be on the low end. Which I guess, to me, I thought that was a good thing. I think I might have said that on the podcast, honestly, is when I saw his urine was clear, I was like, fuck yeah, cool, he's hydrated. But that's not how it works for cats. It's different than humans. I was thinking of it from a human side. Like, your urine's pretty clear. Great. That's not how it is with cats. It's the opposite. They are supposed to have heavily concentrated urine. It's one of their cat things. That's how they mark their territory and stuff. So his being like water was not a good thing. And the vet had called, told me that, and said we got to get the blood work. So I'm like, okay, let's do what we got to do. So I got gabapentin, which I had already been nervous about giving him. Gave it to him as like a trial dose. She said, hey, because he's lost all this weight and he's small now, give him half a pill. A pill is 100 milligrams. Typically, it's like a fly landing on a cat's back. It's supposed to not even affect them, a single pill. So she was like, just start with the half, see how he does. And I gave him the half pill. I was working from home on a Friday. Gave him the half pill. He got like kind of sleepy. I'm like, all right, cool. It seems to be working. He fell asleep. I thought it was kind of funny and cute. I like walked over to him and I started shaking him and he wasn't moving. And I'm like, oh, he's like really knocked out. So I like really, really shook him and he like kind of lifted his head. I'm like, all right, so he's like sedated. Cool. Surprised half a pill did that, but so be it, right? It must be a good thing. But then he stayed like that for 40 hours. He was totally out of it. Couldn't walk. I actually stayed up with him like all that night. Supposed to have a meeting with Chris like the following morning. Didn't have that. Stayed up with him the whole night, like babysitting him because he would go to get up and then he would just like fall over. So I didn't want him to fall off the bed. So I would like carry him to his water. He would drink. I'd bring him back to the bed. And then eventually around like 3 a.m., he was able to move, kind of. He was able to move, but he was very shambly. So I would just like hold him and go to bed. And then I'd wake up to him getting up and I'd watch him down his little stairs and he would go, he'd do his thing. And that lasted for about probably 26 hours of like the shambliness. Then it was a lot of lethargy. Then it was just a little bit of shamble with a little bit of lethargy. Like, it was just all these weird, like, okay, he's clearly still fucked up for about 40 hours. So that was when the vet had called, actually, to tell me about the urine and all that. And I asked her, I was like, hey, out of curiosity, like, how long should I be seeing the effects of this sedative? Because I'd never given it to him before. And she was like, oh, 6 to 8 hours. And I was like, okay, it's been 40, and he's still showing signs of being fucked up. And she was like, yeah, that's not good at all. So that's when I scheduled the blood work. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to sedate him. Fuck it. Like, it is what it is. He's going to have to go under for it, whatever. So I gave him even less that day for the blood work because I didn't want to keep him out for 40 hours. So bring him in. My mom goes with me. She gets out of work. We all go. We give him get him to the vet. They fight with him. He's putting up a good fight. They get the blood work. And she goes like, hey, we'll have the results in an hour or whatever. I paid extra to have it done there so I could get the results that day and not a couple days later. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we go home, feed him. He's a little bit shambly, but I gave him a lot less that time, so he's kind of just like, almost like he's high, almost. I'm like, all right, that's good at least. So we're feeding him, and then I get the call. Ultimately, it was a call I knew was coming, but it didn't really make it any easier. My suspicions from the beginning had been kidney-related issues due to just the fact that he wasn't processing meds. He was losing all this weight, and his urine wasn't concentrated. Like, he had all the kind of things to tell you there's something with his kidneys. What I didn't expect was how bad his kidneys were. So he actually, the vet called, and very unprofessionally, might I add, told me about what they had found. And she had told me straight up that he had broken their record for the worst kidney levels they've ever seen in a feline. So his BUN, which I believe it says should be between like 0 and 3 on a cat. Don't hold me to it. I don't have the results in front of me. It was greater than 130. His creatinine, I believe it was the creatinine. It's supposed to be between like 7 and 12. It was 69. So it was incredibly late stage kidney failure. Basically point of no return. Like there was nothing but a hope and prayer that anything would ever somehow fix itself. So that obviously, that was a hard day. I had in that moment, I was like, okay, like we gotta get this done. And then that was on a Tuesday, and then throughout the week up until the Friday where we were gonna actually put him down, he kind of got a lot worse in a lot of different ways. So I genuinely think, personally, just looking back, the random meds that were prescribed for this suspicious UTI that wasn't a UTI and his hyperthyroidism that wasn't hyperthyroidism, I really think those expedited the kidney failure, because in a matter of November to December, the whole month we were doing all this tests and stuff, he didn't have any issues, and then he got all these pills, and then within 3 weeks he like fucking totally changed to a different animal. So that last week with him, I did what I could to hang out with him Tuesday. After that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, kind of just hung out with him, and he was just getting worse. Like in between, he was drooling or whatever, which we found out was dental disease, which we kind of suspected because he wasn't eating much. He wasn't eating anything hard at all. So I basically spent 3 weeks total, but specifically the last week with him, just fucking feeding him soups and carrying him places and just like getting him to exist, right? And it got to a point where like I just couldn't wait for the Friday to come just to be like, we gotta get him put down, because he's not Oscar. Like, say what you want about like people who keep their pets around and give them meds and stuff, like that's fine if they have a quality of life, and he did not. He would sleep 23 hours out of the day essentially, barely could move. He would tremor his feet. I have videos of him on his last couple of days where he would fucking drag himself to our bedroom to come lay with us at night, because he was just on the couch the whole week. And there's videos of him sleeping in our arms that we took where his whole face is just like seizing and twitching. His lips are moving, his eyebrows are twitching, his eyes are like rolling and stuff. So my big fear was he was going to have a seizure, either while we were at work or while we were there with him. So basically, long story short, we scheduled it for the Friday. We got him put down. That was equally as tough, but also good in a way. I would argue the hardest part of the whole thing was the 3 weeks of treating him like a fucking hospice patient and feeding him liquids and shit like that. That was the hardest part, and the not knowing. Putting him down, the hardest part about that was they couldn't sedate him. I'm assuming because of his kidneys. They didn't tell me why. They just didn't. So he was literally totally aware, other than a little bit of gabapentin I gave him. So my mom had to kind of like hug him and hold him. And I was able to get down low and like hold his head, and he was totally just aware looking at me when they did it. So I fucking held his head in my hands and watched him die, which definitely fucked me up for like a day or two, just thinking about, but ultimately was probably the best thing, because he was just naive to the fact of anything happening. And that was essentially my December. That was the intro to my December. That Friday happened to fall on a podcast weekend, so the next day had the podcast, hence why I wasn't here. And yeah, it's been already 2 weeks now. Yesterday made 2 weeks. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be going into the third week that Friday. So,
oh, that's fucking terrible news. I'm really upset on your behalf. I understand that it's not my experience, but
for sure. But empathy is something people need to learn. So I appreciate you obviously having.
And we haven't talked much because we're just very busy people. Like I said, Jordan and I are barely
We're
friends
not really
anymore.
friends. No, yeah,
But
it's just been so
no, I
ridiculous.
do hope you're doing well.
Yeah, hanging in there. Obviously, it sucks. We lost Noggin early November and lost Oscar December 15th. So 10 days before Christmas, 1 day after his 5-month birthday anniversary thing, and also 3 days, a month and 3 days after Noggin. So it's just like all this shit in one sitting. It's been tough. It comes and goes in waves, truthfully. Like, I can talk about it here, and then I can talk about it at work, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little emotional, but then I go home and I fucking go to sit down and play a video game, and I look to my right, and his urn's on the fucking mantle with his photo and his toys, and that will hurt me a bit. Like, waking up without him has been weird. I'm not a very spiritual person either. Like, I don't believe in a ton of spiritual stuff. I think there's energies and things to be had, but like, I don't know if I believe that you die and you're in the fucking shadow realm, moving around, messing with the living realm. But like, admittedly, some weird things have happened, oddly enough. Not a ton that I've seen myself personally. And I also have chalked a lot of it up to general, I forget what they call it, but the thing people always talk about, like, oh, my dog passed away, but I still feel like it's sleeping at my feet at night for the first couple months. Like that kind of feeling, kind of like phantom limb, like that thing.
Yeah.
I chalk a lot of my experiences up to that, but like stuff my dad has seen, I guess, isn't that. Like he claimed, and he's, again, not a super spiritual person, so I kind of believe him a little, but like he claimed he was sitting at the kitchen table, I think sorting like bills or something, and the sliding door with those long blinds or whatever started swaying. And I went out there when he said that, and I checked, because I was in the room. I checked, the door wasn't cracked, and the windows were open, so it started swinging. And I was like, yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? That's where Oscar used to go, and that's exactly what he used to make it do, so you never know. But I'm just so relieved that he's not how he was those final days, and like final weeks, but especially final days, man. Like, there's nothing like watching something you love or someone you love just literally dying, and you're just sitting there going, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Like, I can't give him any more meds. I can't help him. I just have to sit there, look at him, and pet him. Like, for the whole week that I was going to work, it was literally, my routine was wake up extra early, feed him fucking liquid, go to work, come back, and then just sit there and stare at him for 4.5 hours before I go to sleep, and then wake up and do it again. So it's been a big relief being able to kind of get things back on track, like even being here, going to work normally, playing video game stuff. Like, unlike me to do this, I didn't play the Steam Deck for like 2 weeks. It's pretty wild.
That's a bad state when Jordan doesn't touch the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So I guess just to move us on and kind of get through that topic, because we're
so fucking terrible at like keeping a consistent mood in these podcasts. I feel like we've done this a few times where it's like, let's have a good jovial kind of jocular intro, and then let's just get sad.
Yeah. At least this one started sad.
That's fair. It's like I feel like we've done that a lot where it's like, all right, we're having fun, and then like Chris is gonna talk about how he's depressed for a while.
Yeah. So just to move us on there, rest in peace, Oscar. Yeah. Thank you for the 13.5 years.
Pour one out for him.
Yeah. Wish I did a shot for him on Christmas. So.
If you're drinking tonight, or New Year's or whenever, we're shooting this on New Year's Eve. So
yeah.
But if you're drinking tonight, have one for Oscar.
Yep, have one for Oscar. Also, I guess we didn't even mention this because of not thinking about the timeline. Happy New Year to the audience, I suppose.
Yeah, dude. What's it like in the future?
You're
watching this literally a year ahead of us, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, this episode's gonna take a long time to edit, I guess.
Like
whole last year.
This will take a literal year.
Yep.
So this won't be out until 2024, and like I said, but I don't know, we didn't do anything special, but
yeah, so circumstances sort of kicked us in the nuts.
Yeah, I was kind of tossing around the idea of like just doing the project solo, but I was like, I don't know if I have time for that, and plus, like, I feel like this venture here isn't a Chris thing. This is a Chris and Jordan thing. So like,
yeah,
missing out on Jordan's input, even if it's just like in the writer's room. I think is like, I feel like you're missing out on part of the
vibe,
vibe of the channel.
Yeah,
because I can sit and write a million things, but you're only gonna get my voice. It's you don't get a good Chris and Jordan production.
Exactly. So either way, Thank you if you listened to that. If you skipped, that's fine too. I don't blame you. But Chris, what have you been up to?
Dude, listen, it's been a whole lot of the same. I've just been doing nothing.
So much jerking off.
I mean, I've been known to be a bit of a gooner.
A gooner?
Yeah, that's like a term for like porn addicts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, we really called Jason the goon for a while. That's
We did call him the goon, but that was before the term gooning existed. So
I think we should rethink his name. He's gonna message me about, dude, are you fucking serious? Everyone's calling me the gooner.
Like this comment if you're a real gooner.
Shit.
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of nothing. I've just been just fucking hanging out, man. Like I'm just sat kind of spinning my wheels. I'm like a hamster in a cage that's way too tiny. I'm like I don't even have a wheel to run on. I've been going to the gym a lot more though. That's nice.
That's good, yeah.
Because I had fallen off the gym in like October and November.
Me too.
Fell off the gym hard. But like in the last month, I think like between the back half of November and now, I had been to the gym. Even in just the back half of November, I had been to the gym more times in that 2 weeks than I had been in the entirety of like October. So.
Yeah. I don't think I went at all in December.
I've been going a lot more now. The holidays kind of fucked me because I've only gone once the last 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens because I know the gym's gonna get way fucking busier now that it's the new year.
Yeah, our gym tends to.
So I think that's what's gonna happen, unfortunately. I was at the gym the other day. Lot of bad cacophony of smells in that place. Someone in that gym was terribly stinky.
What branch gym is it? Planet Fitness?
Planet Fitness. Yeah. I was there and like it was relatively busy and someone around at one of the treadmills. I don't pay it. I like to people watch usually, but never at the gym. If I'm at the gym and I look you in the eye, it's a complete accident because I'm normally focused to the ground or like my phone or something because I'm not trying to look at people.
Yeah.
At the gym because I don't want people to look at me at the gym and I want to extend that respect to everyone.
Yeah. Plus it's like the if I can't see you, you can't see me sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like a little kid, like you cover your eyes.
Yeah, if you can't see them, if you don't make eye contact, you don't.
And also that like weird TikTok trend of like women
filming people.
Women like filming people being creeps when they're just trying to exist has gotten me a bit paranoid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because I'm already like a pretty scary individual. I'm physically very imposing, and I'm a little bit awkward and weird.
He's
so
a gooner.
So people are like, oh yeah, this guy's a creep. This guy's a weirdo. What the hell's he doing here?
I'm a creep.
So I feel like I already have a negative stereotype walking in. So I keep eyes down. If I'm gonna walk in like Stevie Wonder at the gym. Yeah. But I didn't know who it was, but someone in the treadmills adjacent to me was terribly stinky.
Oof.
And then they disappeared and I was like, huh. I don't smell that anymore. And they came back and was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that parking lot for the gym, it's like a plaza of like a bunch of different places. And that parking lot always smells like shit. It always smells terrible.
Jesus.
There's a Burger King in that plaza, so it's like, I think that's what it is.
Probably.
You go outside of McDonald's, it smells like McDonald's. You go outside of Wendy's, it smells like Wendy's. Taco Bell, it smells like Taco Bell. You go outside of Burger King, it smells like a fucking crematorium.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it really does.
It smells fucking bad.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
okay. I'm obviously a very large individual.
Somewhat.
I heard the phrase D1 plate cleaner the other day. Not in reference to me, but that's really funny.
That is funny shit.
That's how I am. I'm not very picky. And if it's edible, it's going in my mouth. Edible. But I will not fucking eat Burger King.
That's fair. Burger King is like the bottom tier for my list. Like I'll eat it if like I'm dying.
Like if
about it.
Yeah, if there's like one restaurant in a 60-mile radius and it's Burger King, okay, fine. Yeah. I'll have an original chicken or something.
Yeah, that's what I get. Yeah.
But like
sometimes a Whopper.
Fuck, dude. Burger King's so nasty. So when a fat guy doesn't like Burger King, Burger King's fucked up.
I don't know how they're still around.
They're serving.
Who likes them?
And I did have Burger King like because a new one opened like very recently.
The one right over here, right?
Yeah. Because it used to be a Burger King.
Yeah, it was.
And then it wasn't, and now it's a Burger King again. So I went there, and I was like, I gotta see if Burger King's still trash. It is.
Yeah.
But it's fucking expensive trash.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a regular, like I got chicken fries and regular fries, and it was like $12.
Jesus.
Like fuck you. Like
yeah.
just. Like, how are you gonna serve this bullshit? At least back in the, back a few years ago, the nuggets were $1 for 10. Yeah. Knowing damn well they're serving you fucking lizard ankles.
Yeah.
And chicken beaks.
Yeah, but at least you knew like you're getting 10 nuggets for $1.
Yeah, it's
beggars can't be choosers.
Exactly. Like, okay, I can go and spend $10 and get 100 chicken nuggets. There's no way this isn't fucking dubious food.
Well, considering a pound of chicken is like $7, like, and 100 nuggets is more than a pound. Like it's gonna be a good amount more.
So it's it's rough out there if you're eating Burger King. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Burger Kings make places stinky.
Why do you think they give you the crowns? Dude? They give you something for your time. They know you're gonna have food poisoning. So.
Yeah. And having been a Burger King employee, the antics that go on in those kitchens are diabolical.
Oh, I'm sure.
So there's a lot of things that end up on the ground that end up under the bun.
Yeah. What's your favorite fast food place besides Five Guys? That's unfair.
I don't count Five Guys as fast food. I think Five Guys is like express food.
Okay.
Five Guys is like because you're going in, you still have to wait, and it's a whole thing.
Even with no wait. Yeah. You're still making it there.
So I would say like I'm like a McDonald's guy these days. Pretty big on McDonald's. But I used to be big on Chick-fil-A, but like I kind of fell off Chick-fil-A because I think it's expensive. And the one that's close to us, well, I guess I don't know. I think they put in a new one that's closer, but like the one that I normally went to is like kind of a fucking pain in the ass to get to. Yeah. It's like
in a plaza.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's a fucking nightmare to go to, and I'm not driving all that way for like a fucking $8 chicken sandwich.
Yeah, like you definitely like it's good quality comparatively, but like the drive, the time.
When I can get if I wanted a chicken sandwich that bad, I can get one that's like 90% as good at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I can get a McCrispy, and it's like ostensibly the same thing, and there's a McDonald's literally within walking distance.
Yeah, there is.
To my house. So it's like it's a lot closer and more convenient. But I'm a big McDonald's guy these days.
Yeah.
Call me the Hamburglar. Call me Grimace.
I was gonna say, call me Grimace, man. Yeah, I think McDonald's is probably my favorite in terms of like if I have to choose between a bunch of them, not counting like Jersey Mites or Pancheros, which is not fast food either. Then yeah, like I definitely think McDonald's just is the best well-rounded. Like, I feel like I can go there. And even when I get, like, a Big Mac that I'm not happy with, I'm like, it's all right. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't really ever have a bad time at McDonald's.
Fair.
I don't always have a great time.
Fair.
But I don't ever have a bad time.
They've been pretty on it at the McDonald's that's over here. Is like, for a while, they were just fucking up.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would show up and I would just like I would never get sauce. They would get my order of 3 items. They would forget a third of them.
Yeah, not to derail us, but this is something that's been bothering me lately about fast food. You want to talk about fast food places that fucking suck? This Dunkin' Donuts right here has been off the ball for like a year.
Oh, the one that's like right next to my house?
Right here, like right down the
That
street
one fucking sucks. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts ever. But
that
like,
one's the fucking worst I've ever been to.
If I do go to a Dunkin' Donuts, it's going to be that one because it's literally fucking 100 feet from my house.
Give me like a slightly super bouncy ball, I could probably throw it and hit the Dunkin' from here.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that one sucks.
They
It's like,
suck, dude.
It's like remember when we were in Monterey, we went to Price Chopper, and then that guy at the counter, like at the cashier, he was like wanted to kill himself.
Yeah.
He was like definitely not happy.
He's probably
to be
not
here,
working anymore. He's probably dead. Yeah.
like even remotely. That's how all the employees at that Dunkin' are.
Yeah.
There's like, you get to the speaker and there's like, and you're like, yeah, can I get a large iced, extra, and let me get a sausage, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. And then you go and you're like, you get a cold ass sandwich and a hot ass coffee, even though you asked for it the other way around.
Yeah, no, what's been happening every time I go there, I just get my regular, which is like a medium iced mocha coffee or like a caramel one. And every time, it's like they went to the coffee machine and they were like, brewed this morning. Oh, brewed last year. Here we go.
This one was brewed. This pot of coffee was brewed during the fucking Reagan administration.
Yeah.
Let's use that one.
It comes out like sludge. Like, I feel like I just get this coffee that's supposed to be like a nice brown because it's got chocolate and it's got coffee, it's got creamer. Like, it's supposed to kind of
It looks like fucking used diesel oil.
Yes. It looks like used oil, dude. It's like, I'm like, huh, and then I take a sip, and every time I'm like that episode of SpongeBob where he fucking puckers his whole face into a fucking knot. I'm like, oh.
Take a sip. What is that, 10W30?
And what sucks is like...
Full synthetic?
What sucks is when I used to drink coffee when I first started to, like, that shit was like $2.14.
Dude,
now that shit's $3.90, bro.
It's so expensive.
$4 for me to go, and throw the shit out. And it's like, I'm not going to be the guy who goes back in there and goes, this coffee's bad. Because then I don't know what they're doing. I'm going to be jizzing in my cup. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Jizzing in your cup.
Like, I'm not going to do that.
The amount of times, like, when I used to drink a ton of caffeine, I went to a Dunkin' Donuts one time, and I got a large iced coffee with espresso shots. Just one little espresso cum in there, and that shit was like $7.
The espresso was probably 4 of that.
I was so pissed off. I walked out. I'm like, and they fucking didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Like I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, I actually just bought whole beans. I have a burr grinder. I just bought whole bean Dunkin' Donuts medium roast. I'm trying to make it at home now for a cold brew. So we'll see.
So you're gonna be like one of those people who's like got the 37-step process to making coffee.
It's a fucking process.
Where it's like you gotta grind the beans, or you put the beans in the thing, you weigh them out perfectly. You gotta spray them with water. You put them in the grinder, they grind up to a specific type of grind, and then you take that out. And you're like, oh, and you get like a little thing, and you poke it with little sticks.
That's
I don't know
the
what
espresso.
The point. I don't know what the fucking point of that is.
So the water runs through it and not like around it.
And then you put it in a thing, and you compact it with like a hydraulic press, and then you
Yeah.
put it in another thing, and it takes you 25 minutes to make a
8
shot
ounces.
glass of coffee.
Yeah. No, mine's much simpler. I have a KitchenAid cold brew steeper. So all I do is I grind the beans. I do have to weigh them. Not the beans, but the grounds. It's 11.6 ounces of grounds. You put those in a steeper. You pour 42 ounces of water over that, let it soak, put another 17, and then put it in the fridge overnight. And then you take out the steeper, dump out the grounds, or do whatever with them. And then you just have this cold brew concentrate in this big square guy. And then you put it's a 1-to-3 ratio of that. So you do like 2 ounces of that, 6 ounces water, or 12 ounces and 4 ounces. And then you just put creamer and stuff. So you're making cold brew. So I'm not quite the espresso guy yet who's fucking poking the holes and watching it dribble through like a fucking piss stain.
The concept that when you make cold brew that you're making concentrate, because I made cold brew once, but that didn't occur to me because the article I read didn't have that. Didn't have like a dilution
you just put a
ratio.
bunch of it?
So I was just drinking straight cold brew concentrate. I was like, why does this taste like fucking garbage?
Ugh, God. I've done that. I did that just to try it. Like, out of curiosity, I was like, holy shit. Because I knew I had to do that from the instructions, but Draft Man's big into the whole fucking, with the coffee. And he told me that. He was like, just make sure you don't use too much of the concentrate. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said his wife did that and like shit herself.
I drank like straight, like I brought it to work one time. Like I had a coffee cup and I was like so excited because I made this cold brew. I'm like, this is going to be good. Ooh.
Oh my God. You feel your heart stop for a second.
Like there's definitely like, I feel like it could be pure fucking ethanol in that cup, and it would have been easier to drink.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably.
Like that shit. That shit was bad.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to dump like 2/3 of it, and then filling the rest with water.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this almost tastes normal now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. Cold brew concentrate. Don't fucking drink it straight.
Yeah.
Like, that's like I'll do like 4 shots of Fireball in a row before I do a single shot of that. Like
That shit is
fuck.
bad.
That shit is awful. But yeah, so that's been my new thing. So I'll let you know how the Dunkin' one is. That's what I'm making now. It's brewing in the fridge. So
I see.
We'll see. But yeah, that Dunkin' though. Fast food places, don't go to that one. You have no idea where it is, but just know that one, don't go.
Yeah. Dunkin' in general is kind of shitty.
They're on the downturn. I will admit they are on the downturn.
It's kind of shitty. Like
their food's still good though. I get a bacon and cheese and I'm happy with it though.
I feel like a Dunkin' Donuts if they do. I'm a big sausage, egg, and cheese enjoyer on an everything bagel specifically. If they do it correctly, it's good. And by correctly, I mean like it's warm, and then they put everything in they put everything together and they put it like back in the oven. And then, so when you get the sandwich, it's hot and melty.
Yeah.
That's a good sandwich. But, like, most of the time, they don't do that.
Yeah, with me, so they've been fucking up the coffee for me. These sandwiches, they've been on their A game, except for, like, the presentation. So, like, taste and texture-wise, all good. But, like, I've been getting these croissant sandwiches where, like, sandwiches like this. It's like this. It's spread out like a deck of cards.
That's like a McDonald's cheeseburger special.
Yeah. It looks like they elbow dropped it right before they sent it through.
When they do a McDonald's cheeseburger, it's like you know that they made this shit in 0.2 seconds.
Oh,
because it looks like they threw the ingredients like Frisbees over and then shot a gallon of ketchup in there. And then they wrap that up and they're like good to go.
Yeah. But, fast food places kind of suck. Chris?
Fair.
What you got? Anything else? Or we're going to go gamer style?
I was just saying, ow. I just fucked up my leg. All right, I had a little muscle cramp that happened.
I watched him move his knee, like just stretch his leg out, and I just heard. That's all I heard.
Yeah, I think I had a small tidbit of gaming news, so I think we can get into the
gaming hour.
The gaming. What's a G? The gaming.
I have one, but I can't say
it. Gaming guys.
There you go.
The gaming guys. Let's go. It's the gaming guys segment.
Gaming gooners.
The gaming gooners.
Oh man,
This segment's really cutting into my gooning time.
I know, yeah. It's weird. Every time we film this podcast, the second we hit stop, Chris gets me out. He's like, "Get the fuck out!
Get out, dude! Get out! The fuck!
I'll fax you the video." I'm like, "What?
I'll fax you the video."
Every frame.
Considering one fax of one page takes like 4 minutes to send, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. What are you gaming on?
So I played a little bit of Factorio.
I saw it was your most played game. You shared your Steam year in review, and that's what it said.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
It was the bulk of your playtime for the year, I believe.
That's crazy to me because I've played like 8 hours of that game this year.
It might have been longest session then. Is what
that makes sense. That makes sense because I played.
I just know it had it right on your headline.
I played it for like 8 hours straight and then I stopped. So I played that a little bit, and that's definitely like one of those games that you boot up and you're like, time to go hard in the paint with this one, and then never touch it again.
Yeah. It's like Minecraft.
Yeah, so I played that, and I think what I'm gonna do, I was gonna start it last night, but I didn't have it installed. I'm gonna play the God of War games again. I'm gonna play 2018 and Ragnarok again.
Are you gonna do it on PS5, or are you just gonna go from PC God of War 2018 and then back to PS5 for the Ragnarok?
I'm gonna do that. Like because I have it on PC, the first one, so like I might as well just play it on PC, and then Ragnarok I'll play on PS5.
Yeah, you saw the new expansion for that, right? The free update, or whatever.
No, I didn't actually.
God of War Ragnarok Valhalla or whatever. It's the new expansion that came out the other day, or probably at this point already 3 weeks ago. Time's fucking dilated in my head, but as far as I can tell, you go through the memories of Kratos and confront his past, basically, and it's apparently like a very excellent roguelike DLC with a lot of story behind it. It's Kratos
well,
and Mimir on an adventure.
I guess I'll have to play that then and get back to you. And then I gotta play fucking Spider-Man, dude. I gotta play Spider-Man.
Yeah, you do gotta do that.
So I have that, and I've redeemed the code, and that's all I've done. I don't even have it installed.
That's crazy. That was already like 3 months ago.
I didn't even install the shit.
2
Listen,
months.
you know me. I'm not a huge gamer these days.
More of a gooner. If he's honest.
I'm not much of a gamist these days. I feel like there was a point in time where I was like much more into gaming than I am now. But even then, I wouldn't really consider myself like a huge gamer. I played video games more than I do now because I had less, shit to do. But now it's more of like I play games as like an excuse to have a good PC at this point.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to have the PC hardware to say that like, if I wanted to jump in and play a new release, I could just boot it up and play it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like I don't need a good computer to play games. I play games in order to have a good computer.
That's fair. At least you're aware.
So, and it is nice to have the overhead to be like, I can play games, or like I can use this to fucking fuck around in Premiere.
And not have much issue, yeah.
And not have any issues. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Factorio, you've been playing that. Yeah, it was somewhere on your thing. I'll have to look and see. Maybe I'll put it on the screen if I remember. But like, I thought it said it might have been longest play session for you then. If
I could
you
buy
only
that.
played 8 hours.
Because I was gonna play. Because I was tossing it up because I was like, I might play fucking Stardew Valley
again.
and then I was like, but if I play it, I want to do mods. And then I was like looking at mods, and I was like, this is gonna fucking take too long. So I just want to boot up a game.
Yeah, that's fair.
So. Yeah. And I never really like finished the run that I was doing a while back. I have like fucking 80 or 90 hours into that save, and I'm at like the end of year 2, which is like essentially kind of where the story kind of ends at like year 3. So I'm like almost there, but like I haven't done any of the end game shit.
Yeah.
Like,
damn.
so I don't do Skull Cavern, or I haven't done Skull Cavern very much. So like, yeah, I just don't have the gumption to go back, and I have to like tear a bunch of shit down and then refuculate it to make it not ugly. Yeah. So I don't have a very like designer mind.
Yeah, I don't really either.
Like I feel like every time I go and I watch any of these games where you can be creative, like Stardew Valley, Minecraft, Factorio even, everyone has these like beautiful intricate bases, and I just don't have the mind for it.
You just have shit pieced together.
Yeah, it's like, this is my house. I built a square essentially, or on Stardew it's like, this is my farm. I have no paths. It overgrows itself every season. I don't have any fences to keep the animals in. I just let them free roam. So I just got spare truffles around, and eggs, and loose cows, and I never bothered clearing the property, so there's still like an entire half of the farm that's covered in shit. So
that's crazy.
That's kind of that's how my mind works. I'm a very function over form kind of person. I'm like, this works. I don't give a shit what it looks like, but it works. Yeah. I'm very like utilitarian. And that's why I always got these like brown ass shoes on. Like they're functional as shoes.
Quite functional.
They're not very pretty though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're quite functional. They work.
So that's my take on that's my rant. Jordan,
yeah.
What do you play?
Yeah, so I started Red Dead 2 again.
Yeah, so. It was that was another toss up that I was like, I want to replay something, but Red Dead 2, I played that so much.
Yeah. I'm doing what I'm classifying as like I called it 2 things. I called it my uber slow playthrough and my RPG ass playthrough, where basically what I'm doing is I'm giving Arthur a routine. So I'm playing through the game. I'm already 4 carried the 5. I'm like 13, 14 hours in, and I'm only on chapter 3. I had just got the deputy badge in Rhodes. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of working my way through the game very slowly and RPG-like. Like, if it's nighttime, I don't really traverse unless I have to for a mission. I just camp out in the woods, set up my tent, I sleep. First I eat a big game meat. I eat that. I sleep. I wake up. I make Arthur make some coffee. I tear down camp, and I continue on my way. When I'm in camp, like the actual gang camp, I'll wake up. I'll talk to everyone a little bit. I'll grab coffee. Then I'll head out for the day and set my eyes on like a target. And
that's kind of when I was playing Skyrim a little bit. That's kind of what I was doing. I think like if I was gonna play Red Dead 2 again, I would probably do something similar to that, but I would have like mods or something to reinforce like. And that was my problem with Skyrim is like, there's no mods that I put in place that enforce me to do this. So like I don't have to.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Like I'm not gonna fast travel, but like I could if I wanted to. Like, there's nothing stopping me from fast traveling.
Right.
So, like, I feel like I would need mods to be put in place to enforce that, because otherwise I'm like, I would get lackadaisical and just not do it. Because, like, in Minecraft even, it's like you have to eat something.
Yeah.
But, you know, the survival elements of that game are, like, very kind of mild.
Red Dead, yeah, it's like you're just skinny and you take more damage.
Yeah.
That's like it.
It's, I think it's amped up comparatively, but it's not nearly. I also do wish that there was a difficulty slider in that game.
Yeah.
Because it's a game that's very easy to like walk through.
Yeah.
Essentially, and
it's a power trip.
You become the fucking, and it definitely does. Listen, it does wonders for like male power fantasy stuff, and that's great, and that's wonderful. But like, you know, even me, I suck at video games. I want something a little more challenging. I played most of Cyberpunk on hard, and it was still like a fucking cakewalk.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
It was still so... I had to check the difficulty. After I changed it, I had to check the difficulty like 5 times to make sure it actually changed. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put this on like...
Uber Howard.
Yeah, because there's like literally no challenge. Normal, hard... this will fuck you to death. Those are your difficulties.
Yeah,
so
there's
that's
no in between.
So I put it on hard rather than this will fuck you to death difficulty. And that's probably how I'm gonna play the God of Wars. Is I'm just gonna put them on hard.
Yeah, I played them on hard. It's awesome.
Because I know
it's a good challenge.
On Give Me God of War is like the highest difficulty, and it's like apparently fucking impossible. So I would get frustrated, and I thought. On PC, it gave me a bit more of a challenge on just normal. But I was playing with the keyboard controls, which are fucking abysmal.
Yeah, you gotta use a controller.
But I'm so ingratiated into like knowing how to use keyboard and mouse controls that it didn't bother me that much. But I think on a controller it'd be a lot better.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Definitely just even from like a enjoyment perspective. I feel like that game's obviously for obvious reasons tailored to a controller. But yeah, I was doing kind of like my slow playthrough. Now that you mention it, it'd be cool to do like a mod that makes you eat. I didn't even think of that at first, but yeah, I've just been kind of doing that, like going camp to camp. I think I'm actually closer to 20 hours, truthfully, but yeah, I've been like collecting cigarette cards whenever I can. Not doing 100% it or anything, I don't think, but I have been doing like a little more fishing just as like a relaxation thing. I'll camp out in the woods and then I'll be like, oh, there's a lake over here. Let me go see what I catch and you know, just fish.
Yeah, a playthrough like that for me would probably be like in 20 hours, I would probably have like just left Coulter. Like the playthrough for me is like, oh, okay, let's get real into the role here, because like I think nowadays if I'm playing RPGs, I have to get like really into a role, and that's what kind of fucking took me out of Starfield partially. Also because that game's like very mediocre. I don't think it's bad, but it's just, you know, part of the thing that took me out was
a
like
Ubisoft level game.
I would say it's a notch above that, but like not a very big notch above that.
Just because of what scope, you'd say?
In terms of like what they tried to do and then what the game actually is like, it's billed kind of as like a space exploration game, but it's like really not. It's like going to the other planets where there's no quests on the planet is like fucking pointless.
Yeah, and it's all fast travel anyway.
There's a ton of systems that are like not even worth using. But that's but part of what really took me out of it was the fact that I just couldn't get into character. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get into character, and I got into character a little bit, but like I couldn't get into character like I did with Fallout 4, where I got like really into character. I was like writing lore for my character.
Yeah, really, just heavily involved in it.
I wrote a long story retelling an adventure I had in that fucking as that character. So like I gotta get into the character.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's easier in like actual RPGs than it is in something like Red Dead 2, where I'm not particularly getting into the character. I'm getting into their life, like with living their life and like, you know, obviously eating and stuff. But I'm not like playing Arthur technically the way he should be, because I just liked the character too much. So like I started out already being like a good guy technically, when technically like if you really want to play that game by the book, you should be a piece of shit all the way up until like chapter 4.
Yeah, you got to be like a demonic entity.
Because like it's really funny how I'm being a good guy doing all this like pretty good guy stuff, and then I get to chapter 3 and I sit down with Karen and he just goes, "Man, I've been bad." And I'm like, "Arthur, I maxed out your high honor, my guy." I'm like, "What are you crying about?"
And that's kind of like something I've touched on before, is like how I think this was like when I was playing The Witcher, was like, because they want to add content to the game, you kind of have to act counter to the character's interests. Like, the way like Geralt is portrayed in The Witcher 3 is like, he's not a piece of shit, but like he's like, you just couldn't fucking be bothered. He's like, listen, I'm like 100 years old. I'm trying to find Ciri, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to fucking collect cards. All right. But then you go and do that because, you know, you gotta do the content.
Yeah, you want.
And then there's like certain side quests that like you kind of have to do in order to get a team together for the end of the game. But like, same thing with Arthur, is like, Arthur would definitely kill and rob this person with no hesitation. Especially given the like posters that you see, the wanted posters of like Arthur Morgan that you see, where it says like, "Don't fucking approach this guy. Do not walk up to this guy. He's a danger."
Yeah.
He is dangerous.
Yeah. He's supposed to be literally like the best gunslinger like of that game, like second to Dutch maybe.
Because he'll kill you without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I play the beginning of the game every time. Like I never save the guy who
Jimmy Brooks, yeah. I was just about to bring him up.
Yeah, the guy who finds you out in, I saw you in Blackwater. I always kill that guy because, like, this is what Arthur would do. Yeah. I would step on his fingers and then, you know, let him die. And even at the beginning, the first train robbery you do, I usually kill all those witnesses.
Yeah.
Rather than just let them go. I usually just shoot them all because I'm trying to get into character.
Yeah.
I got to get into character.
Yeah, I can never bring myself to do the bad playthrough. I don't know why. I just love the character so much. Like, I don't know. I fucking love Arthur Morgan as a character.
Well, there's so many, like, good moments that come from high honor.
That's the thing, yeah.
That, like, the low honor playthroughs are just fucking worse.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense because there's a lot of opportunity later in the game to gain honor. Yeah. So I think... Yeah, like you said, play the game like a piece of shit until like chapter 4.
Yeah, basically up until like Arthur gives you clues. Like I said, there's like I didn't notice this until my 4th playthrough, but there's like an entire dialogue thing that's optional. I forget what you do. You go with Javier to do something. It's not the fishing one because I just did that. You do something, and he's very much like he goes, "Yep. Yeah, I know what's coming. Our time's over. Like I don't have much hope for anything Dutch is gonna do, but I'm just gonna ride it out to the end." Like. He's very shut off at that point in the story, and you go like, that's interesting. And then everything obviously happens, and you clearly get that like, oh no, I have done so much wrong. Like it's pretty obvious when you should turn.
I think like a post. I think like the real peak of like togetherness that exists in that game is the fucking raid on Braithwaite Manor.
That's like the last hurrah. Yeah.
Which is like fucking demonic if you think about it. These fucking hooligans roll up to these people. Granted, what the Braithwaites did was fucked up, but
you started it.
yeah, you started at number 1, and like you didn't have to fucking blow up their entire quadrant. You're gonna kill everyone in the house, burn the house down, and dragging the matriarch of the family down the stairs by her hair. These are fucking demons.
I think it's crazy to think about.
Fucking demons, dude.
I think it's crazy to think about the power and like abilities of that gang. To think about like entirety of Rhodes, right? Rhodes is all about trying to play 2 families, and both families catch on. So obviously the Greys, spoiler alert if you're playing Red Dead 2, whatever, you've talked about it a million times, but the Greys wipe out Sean, and then 3 people wipe out the entire town of Rhodes. Micah, Bill, and fucking Arthur. No problem.
Dutch has the philosophy of like, if you take one of his men, he's coming to take all of yours.
Yeah. So you wipe out all of Rhodes, Sheriff Department, all the Greys, and then, what, 7, 8 people roll up to the Braithwaites and wipe out her entire militia?
Yeah. She has like a private army, essentially.
Yeah.
And you kill everyone.
And
so much so that when you're leaving the house and setting the house on fire, I think it's like Hosea who goes like, is there even anyone left?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I get that it's a video game and it's fake people, but that's canon. Like, they
fucking
did
terrifying.
that. Like, when you see Dutch in Red Dead 1, that guy did that with that.
That guy's a fucking menace.
Yeah.
like I think part of that game that really strikes a chord with me is that like you realize that like Arthur Morgan and like these people were never really ever good. Like I don't think they were ever, sure they did some virtuous things, but like just because I gave $1 to a homeless guy and then I shot 4 people still doesn't make me a good guy because I gave $1 to the homeless.
Yeah, like, I always find it fascinating how, like, a character like Arthur Morgan, who you clearly relate to, and you're like, this guy's fucking great. Like, he's so cool. He's awesome. Like, I'm glad he got his good ending. Yeah. He talks about murder like how I would talk about killing a spider. Like, hey, Chris, I just killed that spider. He just goes, yeah, I put a hole in the fucker's head.
Yeah, I killed an actual human.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Even
they're all way too cool about murder.
Yeah, even like what I just did was the Sodom Return to Gomorrah. It's the mission with Bill, and then when you raid the bank in Valentine, and at the end of that you have to go see Mrs. Downs, and like even that line, no matter your honor of, oh, perhaps when your mother's done grieving your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, that's one of the craziest lines.
That's so fucking cold.
And you know he ain't kidding. Like, he would do it. Like, it's crazy.
In his mind, in the mind of Arthur Morgan at that point in the story, he's like, these people should be lucky I didn't kill all of them.
Yeah. Like, his mindset's like, oh, she grabbed the money from in the house. I could have just shot both of them and taken the money myself.
Yeah, like...
I gave him a chance.
It's like, I'll be nice today and only take one of these family members out.
Yeah.
Even when you, like, I think there's, like, the earliest mission was, like, when you find the Polish guy and you have to beat the shit out of him. You steal his watch and everything. Yeah. Or it was a ring or something. That's part of the game is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so that's...
I actually found out on this playthrough. Such an interesting
thought.
I found out on this playthrough by accident you don't have to steal that from him, so I didn't.
Oh, so my first, like, 2 playthroughs, I didn't steal it from him. Mm. I just raided the guy's house, and then I was like...
let you walk out.
Yeah, and then I just walked, but then I was like, he's got something there.
Yeah.
So, even after, what's probably the most fucked up about that is that you show up, and then you can take all of his stuff to satisfy the debt and then still take the ring from him, meaning you left him destitute.
Yeah.
This guy
can't even like go sell the ring.
Money.
Yeah.
He can't sell shit.
Yeah.
You've killed that guy, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, indirectly, you killed that guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he's as good as dead. Yeah, even like I just did the debt collection for Winton Holmes, which is the one where you go after the cougar in the cave or whatever.
Yeah,
the white cougar. And like that guy gets mauled by a cougar, and Arthur's just like, shouldn't have borrowed money, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you kill the cougar, and you skin it, and he goes, yeah, I guess it's white. Hopefully this covers the debt. Like, that guy just died.
That guy's dead,
He just got murdered, and you care like, I hope I can sell the pelt for enough.
And the whole time you're chasing this cat down, he's like, He's like, Jesus fucking Christ, let's go already. Find the damn cat, let's shoot the thing, call it a day. Fuck. And then the guy gets mauled, and I'm just like, oh, shit happens, I guess.
Yeah, sucks this up.
Oh, man. Shit. It's tough for you.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm collecting. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's fucking crazy.
I think that's such an element of the game that I think most people don't consider when they play, is how, like, just how if you were a regular person in this universe, just in a regular NPC, like, you know, and you interacted with Arthur Morgan, there's like a 10% chance you would survive that interaction without being shot or robbed.
Yeah, canonically, yeah. Like, if you think about it, if you were living in Strawberry and someone ran over to you and was like, yo, see that guy walking or riding in on his horse? That's Arthur Morgan. Like, that would be the equivalent of someone saying, that's Jeffrey Dahmer.
That'd be the equivalent.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
That'd be the equivalent to, like, the fucking Grim Reaper rolling up to your town.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, you'd flee. Like, you wouldn't hang out.
Holy shit, that's the guy from the fucking wanted posters. He's here for some reason. And then you hear an explosion at the other end of town, and these two fucking maniacs kill the entire town.
Yeah. Like, it's insane. Like, the actual, like if you think about it, they said there's $5,000 on the bounty for Arthur, and there's like 20 grand I think for Dutch, and then if you average it out, someone did like the math, whatever, like if you average out based on their actions, like the whole gang has like $230,000 on their head, like,
which is like
for
several $100 million.
Yeah, for $18.99 to have that, like look it up. Like, what was, like, that's ridiculous. That's the equivalent of them wiping out a small country. That's what they're wanted for. And not to mention, I also picked up on this with a dialogue exchange that I never even realized. Javier has just as much on him in Mexico, and that's why he's with them.
Fair, you know.
Because he says that when you do the fishing trip, he goes, I can't even go back to my own country if I wanted to leave Dutch or whatever. When Arthur's like, oh yeah, Dutch is fucking us over. Like, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that in this timeline. Like, that at this time he's wanted there, and then obviously Red Dead 1 he makes his way back there. But
yeah, that's these are bad people.
Yeah. Even the good people, dude, like Tilly, like, she stabs motherfuckers sometimes.
Like. Yeah, she's even like ostensibly one of the more innocent members of the gang, and she's still a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
I remember the one mission where you're like, you have to find her because she got kidnapped by her old gang. Like,
by Foreman.
Dude. But also, in fairness, I feel like if those guys had an understanding of who they were, if they had seen the posters and then they saw this guy roll up to their fucking hideout, I'm surprised they would have put up a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be over.
Yeah.
Immediately. Personally, were I again in universe and I saw this wanted poster and then I saw the guy and he wanted to fight me, I would just shoot myself because I'm like, I don't think I win.
The amount of people in that game, in that universe, who know who Arthur is at that time, or any of them, but Arthur especially, because obviously you see it through his perspective, but the amount of people who go like, oh yeah, I know you're that wanted man, and still try to talk shit, like, again, if I was living in that universe, even if I had all the firearms at my disposal that they had back then, and someone said, yeah, that's Arthur Morgan, I would fucking kiss his feet as he walked, bro. Yeah. I'd be like, sir, please don't end my life.
I would empty my wallet preemptively.
Like this guy canonically dueled gunslingers and won.
Yeah.
Like, come on, my guy.
Yeah, because he is him.
Like, just crazy.
Crazy. I felt that same way about The Witcher 3, is like when the random bandits attack you.
Yeah.
It's like, like, everyone knows in this universe what a Witcher is and what they're capable of.
And specifically who the Butcher of Blaviken is.
Yeah, they know him as the Butcher of Blaviken because under a spell, he fucking killed an entire town.
Yeah.
And that wasn't due to the effects of the spell. It was just because he has that much training.
Yeah. Not to mention, they all know who he is. They're always like, oh, White Wolf. Like, you know who he is.
You know who the guy is. And also, I imagine, in the fucking 13th century, this guy who's fucking like 6.5 feet tall and ripped would stand out like the sorest of thumbs.
That's true.
This is when people were like, a healthy person was like 5'6" and 100 pounds.
Yeah. And this 220-pound,
This 200
6'3".
Yeah, this dude with all white hair who's 6'6", 250 of
Two
just
swords.
muscle with 2 swords and a crossbow.
And yellow fucking eyes that
shows
glow.
up. Even if I had no idea what happened with the Butcher of Blaviken incident, I wouldn't want to mess with the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
And then he rolls up with other 6-foot people who look and dress the same, and you still want to mess with that posse, dude.
you want to mess with these guys. I don't think that's the best move.
It's literally like me at 5'6" walking up to a table, an entire round table of Marines, and be like, I want to fight you all at the same
I'm gonna
time.
fight all of you, and then you throw one fist and you get your arm snapped within seconds.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't pick that fight. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's such a crazy thing that happens in video games. It's like
It is funny.
You know this guy, the main character? I want to fight this fucking guy.
Not to mention, I know words are only words, but like even if I didn't know any of that, and I was just like, no, we're gonna kill you, and there was 8 of us, and this guy confidently goes, well, I guess I'm gonna kill you now. I'd be like, wait a minute, why is he so confident? Something's happening here.
Yeah, even at the very beginning of The Witcher 3, when there's like, you're getting harassed outside the one bar, and Geralt's like, well, there's 3 of you, and there's 1 of me, so it's like almost an even fight. And then he goes, wait, never mind. If I was blindfolded and you tied both my arms behind my back, then it might be more even.
As soon as he said that, I'd be like, all right, fair point.
He's like, you know what? That was my bad, honestly. I got other stuff I could go do.
Like, does confidence mean nothing to these people? Like, if he rolled up on me and said that, if me and all the boys are like, we're gonna beat this white-haired bitch, and he just said that to me, I'd
We're
be
gonna
like,
fuck up this old bitch.
I'd be like, never mind. Like,
It's like, you know what? My bad, honestly.
and then he still snaps your wrist.
Honestly, that's totally my fault. I reach out my hand for a handshake, and he cuts my hand clean off like fucking Ethan Winters.
Yeah. Gotta get the magic juice.
Staple that shit back on.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like if he said that, I wouldn't engage. Like, even the Braithwaites, like, I know it was only 8 guys rolling up, but they had a lot of confidence for 8 guys rolling up.
Granted, I also think with that situation in particular, they would have heard by now that like one of these gang members has been shot and killed in town, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, these guys aren't all that. We got 100 fucking guys here.
Yeah.
It's easy." And
That's
then you know, the whole fight kicks off because Dutch just goes, well, if you're not going to be civilized. And then he doesn't even run for cover. He shoots like 5 guys while he's laughing. He doesn't give a fuck.
That is crazy to think about. Like, he's just like...
He waltzes to cover like it's he's got a fucking report to file on Monday.
I think he really does waltz. He goes like, all right, boys, let's let him have it.
It's like he's walking down a grocery store aisle. He doesn't care. It's just this shit ain't nothing to him, man.
He's like, fuck it, gotta work overtime, I guess.
Fuck. Jesus. 5:30? We're gonna do this at 5:30 on a Tuesday? Come on.
And then he just wipes out this entire family. So, crazy fucking game.
Games
Crazy
are fucking
universes.
crazy.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's all I got. I had another game I played, but we ran on a bit, so.
I feel like we did a lot of rambling about the theories behind character interaction in video games.
That's how it goes sometimes. It's an interesting concept, though. Like, conceptually, because, like, considering what's canon and what's not is, like, weird when you think about it. Because, like, logically speaking, I don't care how good they are. They would have been eviscerated by a group of 100 men. Like,
Fair.
It's gonna happen. Like, even the jailbreak with Sadie and Marston. Like,
canonically,
they would get wrecked.
When they were, like, just fucking with the United States military. Even at that time, when it was, I wouldn't say a ragtag operation, but it was, like, there was a lot less going on in the military than there are now.
Yeah.
But these guys, you know, in the military at that time in America were fucking animals. They were terrible.
Yeah.
Arguably, they would have been way, way worse than
the Vanderlyn gang.
The Vanderlyn gang. Like, these guys were fucking savages. They went out and just killed indiscriminately
and scalped people
for like no reason other than like, there's people here and we don't want them here, actually. Yeah. So I feel like that would have been like, I think that would have been over. And they had the numbers too to like, so I think that's where you they kind of jumped the shark a little bit.
Right.
Canonically.
The power scaling.
But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too deep into this, but...
No, it made sense, because you can only do so much, because logically speaking, I think it's fair to say most of the Vanderland gang would win against any average rancher, because they're just a guy. Yeah, they all had guns, but, like, come on now. Yeah. But when you're facing the military... or a private army.
Yeah, these are trained soldiers.
They're just as experienced. Like
these guys have probably killed 10 times more people than you have.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but you know, maybe we can make a video on that at some point. Who knows?
We can talk about
maybe that's something we'll actually get to make.
You know, I wouldn't count on it.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah.
I said I wouldn't do that. Well, I guess you're not me, so.
That's fair. Wait, you're not me and I'm not you? Huh?
Yeah, typically, that's how it works.
Weird. But, all right. You done? Good? Finito?
I guess.
So, as always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed. YouTube and Spotify have a video platform where you can watch us as well as listen to us. And as always, you can contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats, and most importantly... Little Kitty Bid City news, hype, and stuff like that. You know?
I hope that game is fantastic when it comes out.
I hope so. And yeah, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out there. But yeah, I hope that game's good. I wonder if there's been any updates on it. I'll have to check once we.
I hope development's going well. If not, I will personally fund this video game.
I have $14.
I have 15. So
that's $31. It's not.
Bro is not a math major.
It is not $31. I lied. It's $41.
All right. We'll see you all next time, I guess.
See you next Tuesday. We're not going to see it next Tuesday. I'm just calling it.
This comes out on Wednesday. So it'll be a Kunwu.